Okay, so picture this. We're in New Delhi at this massive, high-prestige AI summit. It's designed to put India's tech ambitions right on the world stage, a huge showcase of innovation for all the global investors to see. But then one exhibit, well, it sparked a total firestorm.
Yep, you heard that right. The very beginning of a really complex national debate, one that called academic integrity and even institutional accountability into question. It all started with a simple robotic dog.
So how on earth did one robot dog manage to threaten a whole nation's AI aspirations? And more importantly, what does this whole incident really tell us about the super high-stakes race for technological credibility? Let's dive in and break it down.
All right, so our story kicks off at the AI Impact Summit. This place was buzzing. We're talking global CEOs, top researchers, hot startups. Everyone was there to get a glimpse of the future of tech.
In the middle of all this, Galgotia's University shows off this four-legged robot. Now, to everyone walking by, the presentation made it seem like this was a prime example of India's growing robotic skills, something tied directly to the university's own innovative work. The goal was pretty simple: look strong.
But here's where the story takes a sharp turn. The perception was all about homegrown breakthrough innovation. The reality, though, that was a whole different story. It didn't take long for eagle-eyed folks online and robotics fans to recognize the machine. It wasn't a unique creation. It was a product you could literally just go and buy.
And you know how it is in our hyper-connected world, that gap between perception and reality? It didn't stay a secret for long. What began as a little issue in a New Delhi convention hall was about to become a global conversation.
And the speed of the fallout was just incredible. Within just 4 hours, the robot was identified online as a Unitree Go 2, a commercial product made in China. By hour 12, we're talking links to buy it were going absolutely viral. And in just a single day, the story had flipped so hard that reports started coming out that the university had actually been asked to pack up and leave.
So, as things were blowing up, the university issued a clarification. They said there was never any intention to mislead anyone and that the whole thing was because of an ill-informed representative. But by then, the damage control was way behind a story that had already gone viral and crossed international borders.
So this story quickly became much bigger than just one university or one robot. The incident created this ripple effect, casting a shadow of doubt that touched way more people than you'd think. The impact was seriously widespread. I mean, look at this. The university's reputation obviously took a massive hit. But it didn't stop there. The credibility of the entire summit was called into question. The country's whole tech image got dinged. And maybe most importantly, the actual hard work of its students was completely overshadowed.
And that's the part that really stings, right? The human cost. We're talking about thousands of sincere, hardworking students who had absolutely nothing to do with this. But suddenly, their school's reputation, and by extension, their own, was under a global microscope. All their real work was just unfairly buried under this controversy.
So it's easy to just point fingers here, but let's zoom out a bit. It's more useful to see this as a systems lesson. This whole thing reveals the kind of pressures and responsibilities that are shared across the entire tech ecosystem.
This table actually breaks it down pretty nicely. For the university, the failure was in two places: vetting and communication. The key lesson there is that being crystal clear about where technology comes from, well, it's totally non-negotiable if you want to maintain trust. And for the event organizers, the failure was really an oversight. The big lesson for them: stronger checks on your exhibitors actually protect everyone, including your own reputation.
And look, let's be super clear about this, because it's the most important point. Nobody is saying that universities can't use commercial products for research and demos. That happens all the time. It's standard practice. The problem wasn't the robot itself. It was the ambiguity. It was a failure of communication and attribution, not a failure of technology.
So what's the big lesson here? What's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Well, it connects right back to the very foundation of what it means to be a true innovator on the world stage.
The good news is, an episode like this gives us a pretty clear roadmap to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again. For institutions, just label everything clearly and double-check every single public claim. For organizers, verify your exhibits before they hit the floor and have a crisis plan ready to go. These aren't just rules for the sake of rules. They're about building a professional, resilient system that can truly compete.
And ultimately, this all builds towards one powerful idea: credibility infrastructure. Think of it just like roads and bridges and the power grid. It's that invisible foundation of trust, of verification and integrity that every other innovation is built on top of. It's slow to build, for sure, but once you have it, it is incredibly powerful.
Which kind of leaves us with this one big question to chew on. As all these nations are racing to build the next great technology, maybe the most important innovation of all isn't a piece of hardware or some amazing line of code. Maybe it's just an unwavering commitment to integrity itself. What do you think?